Hello and welcome to Business Insights. I'm your host, Dwight Cromie. Today we're talking with Scott Agajanian, the Economic Development Director for the City of Murrieta. And we're going to talk about what the city is doing to attract business and support the business that is already here. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Dwight.
How are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
Can you tell me what are some of the initiatives that the City of Murrieta has initiated to attract new business to this region?
So the foundation of economic development hasn't changed, right? The foundation is getting out, making connections through cold calling, networking, door knocking, all the same things I would ask a business to do if they're coming into town and they want to be successful in their sales. I would say cities need to think the same way. We need to think like a business. We need to figure out how to connect with the kinds of industry that we want in our city. So for Murrieta, we're very focused on healthcare, for example. We need to play in healthcare circles. We need to network with healthcare groups. We need to let them know about the need and demand of our market. And that comes through a variety of sources, networking at places like Biocom out in San Diego, expanding our reach beyond just our city, and making sure that we're connected to the healthcare players in our city so that way, if they need to grow or expand, we're ready for them. So one of the things that we do on a quarterly basis is a medical leaders luncheon. The Medical Leaders Luncheon is really geared towards putting the medical community together in one room and letting them tell us what the needs are. So if there's a hole in the market, for example, research and development. The city of Murrieta has a lot of healthcare providers, from Kaiser Permanente, who opened up last year, to Loma Linda Medical Center. They opened a Murrieta facility about 7 years ago. Rady Children's also opened up last year, and Rancho Springs Medical Center. So we have a good foundation of healthcare providers. But what we realized was we're not expanding into the research and development side. Bringing those groups together, we were able to convince another party, a startup, to come in and bring us Murrieta Genomics, which is the first genomics laboratory in the region, in fact, in the entire county of Riverside. So one thing that happens when you bring something like a genomics lab in, they don't operate on an island. So there is no genomics laboratory that just sits by itself and doesn't have a biotech cluster around it. So they came in and they were doing work out of our business incubator, which is called the Murrieta Innovation Center. They came into the center and immediately we got more interest from other biotech companies. We're now at 6 biotech companies that are operating in the center. And it's really all started with this medical leaders group, showing the support for research and development in the community and the desire to work with them when they came in. That has brought us Alliance Research Centers, which is the first clinical trials lab in the community. They have an application in for tenant improvements in our innovation center to bring clinical trials, pharmacological clinical trials, to the city of Murrieta. So finding out from the medical community that these needs exist and then having them come together to show support is a great driving factor in bringing in new business. And like I said, once you start that cluster, it was very easy then to bring in companies like Trio Pharmaceuticals, who's working on a less expensive oncology drug, or Gatico, who creates a medical device right here in the city and has a clean room in the city now to develop and assemble it. So this kind of foundation has sprungboard into the next generation of healthcare within the city of Murrieta, which is moving from simply having healthcare services for the community to being the research and development, medical technology, and biotech device manufacturer for the region.
What are some of the hurdles that you face in attracting those types of businesses, and what are what I would say the stumbling blocks for them making the decision to relocate to this region?
So when you don't have a university in your backyard, right? If you don't have a place where students are working to create their own businesses or working on their own concepts or innovations, there's not as much reason to start there. You usually start where your education's going, where you have your mentorship happening. And so we sit between 2 universities, but each one's about 40 minutes away. We have UC Riverside to our north and Cal State San Marcos to our south. With that kind of distance, there's not as many people who are doing the work in their own backyard. So for us, it's more of a recruitment. We have to actually bring those companies and convince them that this is a place that has a solid foundation of workforce, solid foundation of support to do this kind of work here. It's much easier when you're sitting right next door to a major university. So that's a challenge for us. But on the other hand, having a central location like the Murrieta Innovation Center, which offers free startup space to biotech companies, and the support of other biotech companies within the center, and medical leaders who want to see them succeed, I think overcomes that challenge.
Do any of these universities, or do you think any of these universities because you're starting to do so well in this industry, are looking to open satellite campuses within the region? Because obviously, if Murrieta starts to become the medical research hub of the Southwest Riverside County, wouldn't it make sense for the university or San Marcos to put in a satellite campus here in the city?
Yeah, we're starting to see the foundational effects of that as well. So San Marcos has a Temecula satellite office. It hasn't expanded to the medical side yet, but I can imagine that happening. And of course, at any time, we're welcoming them with open arms. And UCR does a lot of work with us. They've actually taught some courses out of our Innovation Center, Startups for Innovators as an example, where UCR professors come down to Murrieta and teach courses for startups here in the community, and we offer those free of charge. So there are partnerships already in place. We do a lot of work with their EPIC Small Business Development Center, which is a technology startups development center, which is really just there for mentorship and education for startups to help kind of lead them through the process. They do work with us as well. So we've got some arm's length reach with them, but don't have them right here in city. So a satellite office, I think, would be the next step.
And what is the city doing right now to attract other types of businesses, manufacturing, retail? What other targets are you looking at, and how are you going after those other targets?
Okay, and so one of the things that's happening right now, I just want to throw a couple quick shameless plugs in here. Retail is actually quite on the move with the city of Murrieta. This week, Black Bear Diner opened up in the city just this Monday. A nice family diner, which really kind of showcases the type of community that we are. We're a family community, very young aged, and usually a higher average family size than most cities have. So a restaurant like Black Bear Diner is a perfect fit. And also coming up later this week is Mitsubishi is opening in our auto mall. They took the former location of BMW, who actually built a brand new location, which is state of the art. So when BMW moved over, created a vacancy that was filled within a week. So we're seeing some really good retail numbers. Retail, which had a 10% vacancy rate about a year ago, is under 7 now. And the companies that we're getting in here are good, solid retailers that are providing great revenues for the city, but also great amenities for the community. So on the retail side, we do a lot of recruitment. We go to the major trade shows like ICSC, which is the International Council of Shopping Centers. But when we go, we bring 10 or 11 people. We bring mayor, city council, city manager, assistant city manager, development directors, the whole slew of people to go out there and meet with retailers and express to them our interest in them coming to the city. We also host Manufacturing Day every year where we do site tours. In the past, we did those as open to the public to have adults come out and take tours, but recently we've realized there's a lot of value in working with the school districts and creating manufacturing tours that showcase the kind of work that is being done in this community to students, usually high school seniors. And from that, we found that a lot of them get interest in filling some of the jobs that need to be filled here in our community. So before they leave, maybe ones who aren't bound for college, but want to find a trade, maybe they find a trade here right in their backyard, and we can get them aligned with those companies early. So creating the workforce for our manufacturers is a big piece with us.
Say I'm a manufacturer in Orange County or LA or even San Diego, and I'm looking to expand. What are the other attractive benefits to relocating to the city of Murrieta or this region? Obviously, there's the old term, location, location, location. Can you tell me what would be the benefit to a manufacturer looking to relocate here?
So I think we could break it down to 3 main benefits. First of all, if you're in Orange County or San Diego County, your workforce is coming from this region already. So you're asking your workers every day to commute to you in order to do their work. Number 2, we're a lot less expensive than Orange County, San Diego County. So the cost of land here is a fraction of the cost per foot for raw land that you're going to find in Orange County or San Diego. And they're running out of land, obviously driving up that demand. You can build here cheaper. You can bring your employees home so they don't have to commute to you. And number 3, this is just a great central location. I mean, we sit right between both markets. So if you have facilities in multiple markets, it's a great place to put a satellite. It's a great place to put a foundation because you can get to Orange County or San Diego very easily from Murrieta. We have 2 freeways that sit right at the center of our city, and they converge at the 15 and 215. You can get pretty much anywhere in Southern California from here within about 60 to 70 miles. So we have a great central location, we have a great workforce, and we have affordable land. It's really the best of all the markets.
So if a business is looking to relocate, one of the big questions most businesses have is, and I've heard this over and over again, how friendly is the city when it comes to business development? I'm sure you have heard horror stories of companies or businesses relocating to a business and just being stalled month after month in their development, or impediments have always been put in the way. How friendly are you and the city of Murrieta to attracting those businesses and moving those impediments away?
So one of the things I really focus on is that I never want to be the city that tells that story, right? Because once word of mouth gets out that you're not a business-friendly city, people talk. And I hear it all the time. I've heard people talk about cities in a way that I always think to myself, if they were talking about my city, I'd be ashamed and I'd have no place in this industry. Our goal is to make sure that we're providing good customer experiences to everybody who comes to us, and that's throughout every single department that we have. So we actually are hosting a customer service seminar coming up next month that our city manager is going to participate in. It's something that we take very seriously, because if you're not providing a good quality product to your consumers, if people don't want to work with you, then they're not going to want to come here. And it's a tough process, because part of it is the state of California is not an easy place to build, right? We have a lot of environmental regulations, we have a lot of processes and steps that are there for reasons, but also make it a little prohibitive to business and development. What we try to do is communicate and explain the situations. You know, a lot of times we're just the pass-through agency. We're just letting you know what the challenges are, and sometimes there's a time delay based on what the state requires, but we're going to communicate with you and make it as fast as possible. In doing so, we've had some great success. Loma Linda University Medical Center was able to get their entitlement in less than a year, a full environmental impact report, and get entitled from the city in less than a year. That's really difficult to do. And we did it by working with them continuously. Kaiser, very much the same. We had them done within 16 months. So we're doing major projects in record time. So it is difficult in the state of California, but it can be done. And I think it really just starts from a core of communication. Murrieta wants to communicate with our developers, that we want to talk to them and be in touch with them. As an example of that, we're hosting a commercial brokers luncheon coming up here at the end of February. And the goal of that is just to stay in talks with all of our brokers so they know what activities the cities do to be more transparent, what we're doing to make sure that we solve infrastructure struggles, what we're doing to make it easy for them to bring projects to the city. So by doing that, I think it gives a level of comfort to the brokers and developers in the region, but it also makes us stay on top of our game and be communicative at all time, because I think that's one of the challenges is when there's a struggle, people don't want to call you up and tell you, hey, guess what, there's a week delay,
Right, yeah.
and here's why. I always find it's much easier to have the conversation up front and not make it a 2-week delay because you don't communicate.
One other final question, we're about to wrap up, is what is the relationship between the city and their chamber? That's another one of those stumbling blocks. Some cities have great relationships with their chamber, and their chamber is very proactive, and others have kind of a push-pull with their chamber. What's the relationship with this chamber, and how robust is the chamber in Murrieta?
So Murrieta, it's actually the Murrieta-Wildomar Chamber. They recently expanded. One of the largest chambers of commerce in the region, and definitely one of the largest for a city of our size. We're a city of 115,000 residents, and we have a chamber of commerce with nearly 1,000 businesses. I think there are about 900 businesses within their membership right now. So we have a very large, very strong chamber. I mean, we have a great relationship. For full transparency, I worked at the Chamber of Commerce before I came to the city. And it was in working at the Chamber of Commerce and making those business connections and sharing them with the city staff that I actually made the connections that I think made me a viable candidate to work for the city. It's because the Chamber of Commerce was so engaged with the community and worked with them so much that it became a good quality to have within the city space. And so I've always kept that in touch, which is the Chamber of Commerce does a great job of connecting on a daily basis with businesses. That is exactly what the city needs to do, and they're a great conduit. Now, a lot of people get confused. They think the chamber and the city are one and the same, and they're not. The chamber is a separate organization. It is a nonprofit, and a lot of times it's a great check and balance upon cities, right? We make decisions that we think are economically friendly, and maybe they see it another way, and their ability to speak up on behalf of the businesses in the community is a great challenge to us, making sure that we just don't think that we're resolute in every decision we make. We make mistakes. Sometimes we think something's a positive for business, and it might not be. It's a great way to have that pointed out to us. So they're a great mouthpiece for the businesses in the community, and a great reminder of the city to stay in touch with them at all times.
Well, Scott, it's been great talking to you, but my last question, if a business owner is interested in relocating or a developer's interested in working with the city, how do they reach out or contact you?
So I am available day and night. My cell number is 951-640-4161, and I am always open to talking to any business, any investment, any development that wants to happen in our city. I'm available day and night.
Thank you, Scott, for your time.
Thank you, Dwight.
For our viewers, we'll put up a slide that'll let you know what Scott's contact information is and how you can reach out to him. And I encourage you to look at the city of Murrieta as a place to either grow or expand your business. Thank you for watching. I'm Dwight Cromie.